Hello, Twitch. Hello, Internet. Are you ready for your surprise? Ta-da! Aren't I beautiful? I have a face. I have a face under all that fuzz. Enjoy it while you can, it won't last. The beard's coming back. I figured it was time. Usually, like, once every 5 to 10 years, I'll shave it all off. Double check, make sure it's still there, you know? Can't see anything. Gotta take the helmet off. It's strange. I can feel sensation. Either way, I just finished playing through Citizen Sleeper 1, which was an experience. And I wish I'd streamed it, but I also have to grapple with the fact that I don't have as much free time as I used to, so I can't regularly stream things. So I have to learn to enjoy single-player games when I'm not streaming. And so I'm probably going to do most of Citizen Sleeper 2 off-stream, but I wanted to share a little bit of it, because, oh, this franchise is good. So, we're going to jump right in. And because I crushed the first game, we're going to do Dangerous. And if I get rolled, I get rolled and have to start over. So, now we have to pick a character. This is sort of a, like a, similar to single player, it's a single player RPG. It feels very tabletop RPG-esque. So you've got your stat sheet, and then each of these characters has a different stat layout and a different specialty. So let's just read. I'm going to be playing Operator. Operator sleepers are built to work with drones and remote machines over local networks to perform corporate resource extraction from a distance. Operators have expertise in working with the interfaces and computer systems, but are more physically fragile than other sleepers. Their reboot skill allows them to hack their own systems to reroll dice, a risky but potentially powerful move. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. I just relate to the setting of Operator more. Although if I had to pick one that's the strongest, it would probably be Machinist, because they have an extra bonus on this, although I don't know what focus means. I also relate somewhat to Machinist, because I'm terrible at engaging with things, but we're gonna go... Wait. Does it lose a stat point? No. Stat points are all the same, it's just where they're put. So, just a brief overview, because most people that are playing Citizen Sleeper 2 would know what the premise is. So what sleepers are people that, in order to pay off debts or what have you, sign up with a company to have their body put in cryosleep and their consciousness copied and transferred onto a sleeper, or basically a robot or a cyborg that will allow them to do highly specialized labor to pay off their debt. It also means that if they're working in hazardous conditions, if something terrible happens, their body will be fine. So there's some benefit, but also it's an emulated consciousness. It's honestly not great for the person involved. And so, we have escaped. In both games, you have escaped from your company that you're working for and are fleeing. And, yeah, let's just get right to it. In the moment before waking, dark space before conscious thought, you struggle to find the pieces of yourself. Usually these pieces come with a particular cadence, each appearing sequentially, like the boot process of an old terminal. First your body, artificial, compromised, but relaying sense data all the same. Then it's context. The breeze of air filtration, the soft contact of your birth in 0G. Then emotion, coming into focus, coming into your body, bringing with it that first instinct, the one that has framed your past 100 cycles. Fear. But that familiar sequence does not arrive. Instead, you are unmoored in space, your body distant, your context silent, even your emotions somehow obscured and scattered. Among all that disarray, only one familiar thing arrives: fear. Allergies are kicking my butt today. I don't know why. Picked a heck of a day to play a game that involves lots of reading, though, didn't I? It is a scrambled, panicked fear. The drowning fear, the falling fear, the fear that makes you reach desperately for any stable point. It is the fear that tells you something is wrong. Something is very wrong with you. Wake up, sleeper. The voice is whispered in your ear. An act that makes you suddenly aware of your head, pulsing in pain, your body rigid with tension. Ugh. Sleeper. A familiar name. A mind copied, emulated. A body built, implanted. One person sleeping until their debt is worked away. Their double being made to work, to be consumed, and eventually to be destroyed. A proxy. An emulation. A sleeper. That is what you are. But you escaped. You remember that now. Broke free of your corporate creators, Essen Arp, in search of a future. You cannot remember the details of your escape, but you know the fear has been with you ever since. All of a sudden, you remember you have eyes, and your eyes flicker open. Pale eyes and a pale face. Lane. The name comes with its own specific sensation of fear, one you recoil from instinctively. Sorry to interrupt, but the sense here. You search your mind for more than a name. Is this how you reward me for my generosity? Lane is leaning over your horizontal floating body, looking down into your eyes. I took you in, protected you, gave you a purpose. You try to look away, to the corners of your vision, to find something you understand. Your body does not respond. But I suppose that wasn't enough. He reaches into the pocket of his jacket and retrieves a small vial. This wasn't enough. The vial glitters. This object you know, and have known for a long time. Stabilizer. The drug that keeps your artificial body, your emulated mind from inevitable decay. The only balm for your planned obsolescence. The liquid roiling in the vial fills you with disgust. Lane pockets the vial. But it would be wasted on you now. After what you've done to this body of yours, he looks at you with a palpable disgust. Lane's eyes scan your body, and as they do, you become aware of all the wires and tubes attached to you. Those that were meant to free you from your dependence, from the stabilizer and the control it grants Lane. They are free, you piece of shit! They don't need you anymore! The voice comes from somewhere behind Lane's head. It is a voice you know, but when you search your mind to try to understand why, you find only dizzying darkness. Shut him up! Lane barks a command, and you hear the sounds of impact, of pain from elsewhere in the room. You try to move your limbs again, and this time you feel a flicker, the twitch of a finger. You feel the extension and compression of a synthetic muscle. Free, are you? You were free when I disabled your tracker, when I gave you the stabilizer you needed. He scans your body with angry eyes. Now you aren't free, you're just broken. I had such big plans for you, Sleeper. I invested in you. Lane grips your arm hard, and you feel a jolt of reaction. You will the arm to move. But you have ruined all that. Lane speaks louder, over the sound of the struggle behind him. I will try to preserve your body, of course. I have my own uses for it. But your emulation? You feel one of his hands searching behind your head. He finds and grips the thick cable running into the port at the base of your skull. I will burn that out. Lane jerks forward, slamming across your body and then spinning away out of sight. You feel yourself rolling, the cables plugged into you looping and wrapping around your limbs. Then you feel hands steadying you, pulling cables. You glance around wildly and see someone diligently unplugging you. You meet his eyes. Hey! He waves a hand in your dazed face. We need to move! Lane won't be out long. He unloops a cable from around your waist. Sleeper? Help me out here! You blink, slowly. Do you know this person? He leans over you and you feel his hands on the connector flicking switches, releasing locks. Come on, come on, come on! He tugs the connector clear and pulls you up. You see the room you're in for the first time, filled with tech and terminals, wires waving everywhere, all lit by big windows looking out on an impossibly bright, screen-filled street beyond. In the corner, you see the dark shape of a floating body surrounded by a glittering constellation of crimson baubles. Is that blood? Move! You are wrestled and shoved towards the door, which slides open in front of you, and then you're out in all that brightness, all that movement, gliding hard towards some unknown destination. You come to a stop in a dark alley. The one who guided you here pausing to catch his breath. He doubles over beside a massive life support unit that sends a lukewarm breeze across your skin. You stare at him, trying to recall anything about him. You notice his tattered jacket, his lightweight clothes. You remember this station runs hot. Something about the power that flows through the place. He looks up and meets your eye. What's going on, Sleeper? Talk to me! Who was that? You see a concerned frown across his face. Lane? You're asking who Lane is? He comes closer, eyeing you carefully. What station are we on? You close your eyes, trying to recall. You force your way through the dark to the image of a station. No, a city, growing on the back of a vast set of hexagonal solar cells, shadowed by them. You open your eyes. Dark side. The word leaves your mouth like an exhale, an instinct. Before you heard yourself sound it out, you didn't know it was there. He sighs. And me, who am I? You see something like fear in his eyes. Panic, perhaps. You stare hard at his face. The slight upturn of his mouth, the intensity of his stare. Nothing comes. He closes his eyes and drops his head, putting a hand to his temple. The reboot. He's speaking quietly to himself. Lane interrupted the process, and you... We need to keep moving. We need to leave. He turns and kicks off down the alley. Come on, the rig can't be far. Dark side. As you are led through the passages and serviceways of the station, you try to recall your life here. As the texture, the temperature of Dark Side feels familiar, but you struggle to pin specific memories to it. Focusing hard, you recall waking up in these passages cycle after cycle, the rhythms of the station flowing over you along with the crowds. You recall desperation and the slow decay of your body that caused it. Then Lane, those pale eyes, offering you a glittering vial. Stabilizer. The promise of supplying more for your work. A deal he locked you into like a cage. There, your memory fails you. But in the dark beyond that moment, the residue of panic, of fear, remains. You were Lane's prisoner. Lane's plaything. You shudder in the cold passage. Wait. Your guide holds up a hand, and you stop your glide using the wall. Ahead, you see the tunnel opens up into a wide open bay with a few doors leading to cylindrical tunnels. The docks. They're watching the rig. He nods towards the docks, and you see one of the doors has a couple of figures flanking it, one covered in ornate tattoos, the other with bright silver implants along their cheekbones. Utsubo, Lane's guys. He looks at you and shakes his head in frustration. All this? It's not coming back to you, is it? Something catches your eye, and you see he's playing with a coin, nervously turning it over and over in his fingers. He sees you looking and slips it away. He places a hand on his chest. I'm Seraphin, all right? He looks pained when he speaks. Lane? He was our captor. Both of us. We did this so we could escape. We needed to reboot you to break your dependence on Stabilizer. You know what that is, right? You nod meekly. But Lane interrupted me back there, and the reboot didn't complete, and we can still make this work. He looks back at the docks. I'll lead them away. You get the docking bridge open. If we can make it to the rig, I know how to get us in. Got that? He searches your face for a sign of recognition. We already know what the rig is, right? They're watching the... Okay. Get that door open. He pats you on the shoulder. I know you can do this. Oops. There we go. Seraphin kicks off hard and glides into the docks. Over here, shitheads! He bellows to the guards as he barrels through. They immediately push off from the wall, giving chase. During scenes, you may encounter skill checks where you can perform certain actions using your skills. Like the dice actions you will encounter later, skill checks can have a positive, neutral, or negative outcome. The better the rating of your skill, the more likely you'll succeed on a check. The odds of success are displayed when you select the check. You wait a breath, then glide across to the door they were guarding. You look, already panicked, at the tightly sealed door. Its control panel locked out. You hear a shout from somewhere nearby. You need to get it open. Positive! Let's go! You shift to the control panel, your fingers dancing across the keys. Without thinking, you access the maintenance layer and trigger a fire safety venting procedure. The panel drones out a klaxon and the door pops open with a hiss. Go! Go! Seraphin flies past you, through the doorway into the docking tunnel. You turn to see the two guards approaching fast across the docks and quickly glide after Seraphin. Seraphin is already at the rig's door, inputting an entry code. The rig's door scissors open, you both rush inside. Quickly! Seraphin grabs you by the arm and drags you up to the cockpit, the ship's layout hazy in your mind. He dumps you in a flight seat and straps himself into his own. You see him tap a series of buttons as he does, talking to himself. Come on! The rig's drive rumbles into life, and Seraphin slams a button on the console. You feel the force of the ship's acceleration as it pulls away. Sorry, you heard that? As the ship glides into place on the connecting bridge, its automatic systems nudged there by the port's docking protocols, you feel a sense of relief. Seraphin burned hard at a dark side, and you dropped in and out of consciousness in your seat as the rig made its way across the belt. But now, with open space between you and Lane, you feel fresher, more awake. Seraphin breaks the silence. We're good, sleeper. His eyes don't leave the monitor, and you realize this part of your escape is routine for him. You and he must have docked this ship countless times in your work for Lane. The problem is, you don't remember any of them. You made it, he whispers, closing his eyes and letting out a sigh. He shakes his head and then unclips from the pilot seat. Seraphin reaches up, flicking through a set of switches in a practiced fashion, completing the shutdown. You watch, a little frustrated with your own uselessness. Running the rig, you realize, is just another thing you've forgotten. A clunk that runs through the walls of the ship is followed by a short, percussive alarm tone from the pilot's console. Docking complete. Seraphin kicks off from his seat, twisting as he glides past you towards the back of the cockpit. His hands find the rails on either side of the door and he pauses, facing into the corridor beyond. He turns back to you, backlit in cold cyan. We need a plan. Lane's not going to let us slip away quietly. We need to talk. Seraphin furrows his brow. Not now, sleeper. We need to forget. He flinches, the words coming out wrong. We need to focus on something other than... He pauses again, unsure. Us. We need to survive this thing first. Then maybe we talk. I mean, that's not fair, but I get it. We bought ourselves some time. He glances through the cockpit window at the blinking lights of the station. You may not remember Hexport, but I do, and there are plenty of opportunities here for us, if we can keep our heads down. He turns his back to the corridor. That's what we'll do. He pushes off and glides toward the main lock, and you follow, pulling yourself along, hand over hand, in 0G. We already emptied the tank on this thing, so we need to refuel, and that won't be cheap. But if you and I know one thing, Sleeper, it's out of work. I'm gonna get myself reacquainted, see if I can turn up any old connections, people that might throw us an easy contract. You keep out of trouble. I'm going too. Seraphin stops at the airlock. Not with me, you aren't. You bring a lot of attention to us, Sleeper. People don't forget your face. Stopping the reboot halfway through. He pulls a worn crew jacket from a locker and starts pulling it on. We don't know what that did to you. He jams an arm into his sleeve. I don't want you passing out and... It'll take both of us. Seraphin sighs. I hate it when you're right. He grabs another crew jacket and thrusts it at you. Just put the damn hood up, will you? You take it and slip it on. Thank you. Seraphin nods. He stabs at the button to open the lock. The inner door hisses open, and Seraphin glides through. Wait for us a little bit, then leave. Anyone looking for us will be looking for two people traveling together. He looks at you in your worn crew jacket, a limited disguise for what is clearly a sleeper. We meet back here later. Any trouble? Same thing. Meet here. He surveys your disguise again and shakes his head. This is a shitty idea. He gives you one last look. Maybe find yourself something to eat. Suddenly you recognize Seraphin's instinct to look after you. A flash of a relationship, now lost to the reboot. Catch! Seraphin throws a handful of something towards you. You manage to grab the projectiles. When you open your hand, you see a stack of cryochips. Those should get you some food. We'll need some more for fuel and supplies. He grimaces. That means odd jobs on the station, for both of us. Seraphin kicks off and glides down the docking bridge. Don't go too far, all right? He shouts as he leaves. Take it slow! And with that, he's gone. Leaving the connecting bridge and heading into Hexport's docking concourse. You wait for a moment in silence. I don't really have time to deliberate on that. Let's make a plan. You try to think ahead to what might be coming. You'll need work. That's the first step, but then what? Lane will be coming eventually. The sooner you can put some distance between you and Hexport, the better. So that's the plan. Rest, resupply, and run. You shake the thoughts from your head and pull the jacket tight. Let's see what Hexport has to offer. You kick off and glide into port. Welcome to Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector. The game runs in cycles, during which you can perform actions with your dice, use cryo to buy food, fuel, supplies, and items, progress clocks towards new scenes and events. You can review tutorials at any time. So, when it says that, here's what it means. I don't know how long I was muted there. The rig is your ship and home in the Starward Belt. While the rig is docked at the hub, there are multiple areas you can visit. Bunks, use dice to reduce stress. Galley, use supplies to regain energy. Other locations will unlock as you play. While the rig is in dock at a hub, your crew will also help gather resources to contribute to the upkeep of the ship. You can choose which resources they should focus on the crew task menu to the left. They have a random chance of acquiring it at the beginning of the following cycle. This is a bit loud. That should be a bit better. A little bit. Tutorial. This clock is a cycle clock. This is what I was explaining before. It will progress towards an event each cycle. Its completion will trigger significant events. So when this fills up, Lane shows up. So, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, so 12? We have, 16. We have 16 cycles before Lane shows up. We have to be refueled, have finished everything we need to do at the station, and gone within 16 cycles, or we are screwed. So those are clocks. How do I explore? Yes. And then, the dice. Anyone that's played an RPG knows what dice are for. In Citizen Sleeper 2, you perform actions by assigning action dice to them. The higher the dice you assign, the more likely you'll succeed in an action. But your dice will be modified by your skill. Your skill modifier for the action is displayed on the right and will reduce or increase the value of the dice assigned to the action. Like skill checks, dice actions have 3 outcomes: positive, negative, and neutral. Each action is also rated safe, risky, or dangerous, based on the outcome it has. The more dangerous an action is, the more significant both its rewards and consequences are. Okay. So what is this? Skill required engineer. I don't have that. Interface. Oh, I'm good at interfacing. The data brokers are the heart of the exchange. They show off their knowledge by discussing decryption. Maybe if you can talk the talk. Rules of the exchange. The exchange buzzes with the conversation of commerce. This is a place where contracts are found. You just need to look. So I need to fill this in order to get work here. Let's leave there. Take a look at what the other place is. Export docks. Let me see. Chat to crews. There are plenty of crews milling around the docks. This could be a good source of info. Hexport's docks are a dizzying mess of braided cables and flickering signage filled with busy spacers. Exploring is both thrilling and intimidating. Let's not do that yet. So because I have a plus, that jumps that up there. It's a risky. Let's take a 4. I'd rather save the 5 for something more dangerous. Rules of the exchange. You progress to clock. Let's do it again. Positive. Yeah! All right, one more. Neutral. Nice! We avoided any negative outcomes. So now, we leave. And now we have jobs. So we got the canteen. Here you can eat in exchange for cryo. Eating gives you energy and stops you starving. Different foods give different amounts of energy. Most trade halls have a canteen where they prepare their own dishes from packed supplies they otherwise provide. So what is this? Hang on. Is this food or stress? No, that's stress. That's food. If it's like the last game, I'm gonna lose 2 bars per cycle, so let's not do that yet. Just in case that food gives 3 bars instead of 2. All right, buy fuel. Fill fuel is 25, I can't afford that. Buy supplies. Fill supplies, okay. So this doesn't give me work, does it? No. No, it does not. Is there anywhere else on the station? No. Which do I think? Let's do this one. Usually, so, safe versus risky versus danger just changes what the consequences are if you get a negative result. Usually, danger will also have some negative results on a neutral, but it almost always has better rewards. So we're gonna do that. Yep, so we lost an energy, but we got 2 instead of 1. And if we'd gotten a positive outcome, we probably would have gotten 3. That said, let's have a meal. See, it was, oh, it's 4! Darn it, that's fine. I would have been starving tomorrow anyway. S&S is a spacer gambling game played with custom magnetic dice. Chits are stashed in the symbol-marked cans, and winning is ruthlessly luck-based. I disagree with that. Alright, this is risky, and I'll probably get punished for it, but... Okay. That wasn't too bad. Odd jobs are requiring cryo. Good. And we do lose 2 each cycle. We're in trouble, sleeper. Seraphim leans into the bunks as you're getting up. Hola! Hello, Johnny! What's up? Also, fair warning to any read aloud purists out there. I'm gonna forget everybody's voices all of the time. So, yeah. Sorry. We're in trouble, sleeper. Seraphim leans into the bunks as you're getting up. Without further explanation, he disappears down the corridor towards the rear of the ship. You drift out into the passage, pulling on your clothes, and glide down the length of the rig, the cool air making you shiver. Seraphim is a silhouette, silently leading the way. He stops at the far end, diverting through a side door. shooting you a glance as he does. You find Seraphin inside, holding one of a tangle of arm-thick tubes that are waving in the zero-G engine room. You know what these are? Fuel pipes? Seraphin shrugs. Close enough. These are the engine's feed lines. He waves one in the air. And before you ask, no, they aren't supposed to be waggling loose. What did you do? Seraphin laughs. Oh, I see how it is. These must have broken loose when we pushed the ship hard on our way out of Darkside. He looks at the mess. We're lucky the reserve tank is empty, otherwise it would have been bad. But, he pushes the pipe to the side. No feed from the reserve tank means the rig's range is limited to the local region only. He thumps the large lumpen housing of the engine. This thing can't take us anywhere far. So we fix it? That's the short of it. Seraphin whacks the engine housing again, harder this time. Just not been our run of luck. He turns and starts gathering the tangled feed lines, his frustration evident in the violence of his movements. We'll need a new set of these, that's for sure. He starts forcing them into a crate. So how about you track them down? I'll take a look at things here and see if I can figure out another fix for the reserve tank. He glances up from his work. From what I've heard on Hexport, Factory Row is the place to find ship fitters. Maybe you can do some recon while I sort this place out. All right, I'll take a look. Wait. Seraphin pauses, seemingly unsure. There's something else. He drops the feed lines and they float, waving in the air like tubular seaweed. I've heard word that Lane's on the hunt. He frowns. A message went out everywhere in the local radius of Darkside. He's looking for us. And we can't leave. Exactly. Which is why we need those feed lines. I'm going to try to work something out. Maybe I can improvise a solution. I don't know. I'm no ship fitter. But while I do, you go hunting. See what you can turn up, okay? He smiles a weak smile. Get going. You leave the engine room, the clanking sound of Seraphin's cleanup efforts echoing through the ship. Fuel feed lines. That's the next step. You've discovered a drive. Drives help you track and choose your objectives in Citizen Sleeper 2. The arrow button in the top left opens the drive menu where you can choose the drive to track. Once a drive is tracked in a yellow marker, it will be placed above the location that relates to that drive. Drives come in two types, major and minor. On completion, a major drive rewards 2 upgrade points and a minor rewards 1. And that's a major. Don't click that. So, I'm guessing stress is going to be the limiting factor here. That or damage. Maybe that's how they're doing it. In the previous game, these like 3 chunk things? That was your health, your durability, and that was measured along the top here. Okay. How you been, Johnny? Alright, so this is where we're supposed to be going. Trusted supplier. Hexports are picky about who they work with. Trust is a currency here. Oh, well, I guess I'm not doing this. Let's see, how bad does that get? Yeah, it gets bad. And I don't have any skill points, do I? Leave. Character screen, you can upgrade. Yeah. Oh. No dice damage on push reroll. Reroll +1 dice. Doing my first Eden run in Isaac. Just found out the gimmick. It's interesting, I guess. What's the gimmick? I haven't done Eden. I've barely played Rebirth. I wonder if I'm not allowed to upgrade this. That takes 4 skill points? Oh my god. They better be freaking generous. That was 1 before. Alright, we'll do that. Of course it was negative. Alright, leave. Let's get some more food. That's okay. If we get 1 positive, then we're in. There we go. Factory Row howls as you glide through its cramped passages. Whatever its many bays and rooms once were, they now serve as containers for industry of every kind. Again, still too loud. Whirring manufactories precisely engineer components with rapidly shifting arms, while scrappers hammer incessantly at bent ship plates. Apparently, each time you beat Heart or Mom, you get an Eden token. Eden can only be played with a token, and it's consumed by starting a run. Each Eden run is set to a random seed, so the character has random stats, start items, etc. Okay. Everywhere you look, there is energy and activity, and for good reason. Hexport itself is built on the derelict fragments of a solar reflector, and even the small amount of energy generated by its remaining mirrors is enough to power a city of machines. It is familiar to you, of course, in a strange, far-off way, because of Darkside. That place and your memories of it are a muddy haze, but it's hard to forget the glint of its hexagonal reflectors, 10 or 20 times more in number than Hexport's, and that wild, flickering city growing on their back like a tumor. In comparison, Hexport feels provincial, but deep in Factory Row, you could almost be back in Darkside. And then you see them. Tubes, just like those Seraphim had waved in your face. The feed lines. You push over to the display window of the unit marked Karsten's Supply in block capitals cut from hull plate. Amongst an angled shelf of oversized ship components sit the feed lines, like some large biomechanical tangle of snakes. You slip inside where the sound of Factory Row is a little screened, and spot a large figure working at a bench, hunched over, concentrating. It seems he doesn't notice you either. Oh wait. You let him work, watching as, despite his heavy build, he delicately aligns the components, their layers slotting like puzzle pieces. After a few moments of observing the process, he turns his head a little towards you. Can I help you? His accent is heavy, but unknown to you. Those feed lines, how much? There's a sharp clink as Karsten places his tools and the component against a magnetic plate on the wall. He turns with surprising grace and begins cleaning his hands on a cloth. Those sharp eyes scan you, but Karsten's thick-set features do not betray the results of his assessment. Custom built those, for a client that never collected. He looks at his hands while he speaks, checking for stray oil stains. You have one of the old MEVs, then? He sounds out the letters in a way you don't recognize as he speaks. MEVs. I'm not gonna work that hard. You try to recall anything you know about your ship, but the memories elude you. Perhaps Seraphim should have come along. I think so. Karsten squints a little. Right. Look. Karsten drifts over to where you are standing, his imposing height evident. For a fellow enthusiast like you, he continues in a distinctive monotone, let's say a few hundred cryo unclean chits. He shoots a glance at the feed lines. 400, let's say, to be precise. I don't have 400. Karsten looks you up and down and sniffs. It's expensive, I know. It's a shame, but it's just what they're worth. He screws up his mouth a little into something that might be a smile. However, I'm more of the buttering type myself anyway. Barter sounds good. Karsten nods sagely. There's a little favor I need a crew for, and, well, you look like you might be a good fit. He tucks the cloth away in a pocket and clasps his hands. I know of an old Solheim wreck out there. Very old. Pre-collapse. It's tucked away in a dead zone, so no one has ever really cut it. Not only that, but Solheim derelicts have a habit of triggering nasty security protocols when approached by an unfamiliar ship. So it's been left well alone. But a scavenger like you, with an old Solheim rig, I bet it wouldn't even flinch if it saw you coming. I have a special interest, a need for that old tech. All those Solheim ships had a data core, and while I don't care about the accounting reports or material ledgers or whatever they kept on the damn thing, I do care about the hardware. So, if I was to find you back here with that data core in your cargo hold, clean cut and complete, well then, I could see my way to doing a straight barter for those feed lines. Karsten pauses, sniffs at the air again. You just need the coordinates. Let's do it. All right then. He holds out a heavy hand for you to shake, and as you automatically reach out, he grabs your forearm instead. Karsten pulls you closer, squeezing your arm. Let's keep this one between us, all right? He half smiles, his face huge and close. It's our deal. Before you can respond, he thumbs a little drive into your palm. those coordinates. And then he lets go of your arm with what you swear is a wink. You take a moment to gather yourself, and by the time you do, a whirring fills the air. Karsten, having returned to his workbench. You turn and glide out of Karsten's supply with a growing mix of anxiety and excitement in the pit of your stomach and the cacophony of Factory Row in your ears. A contract. Seraphin might even be impressed. You look at the drive in your palm and smile. This could be a route out. You think of leaving this place behind in possession of an improved ship, too. Suddenly, a small but firm hand falls on your back, an equally small voice coming with it. Hey, wait up! You turn in the passage to see a young woman, her hair waving from the rapid glide. She clearly just came out of to catch you. She steadies herself using your shoulder. Sorry. She smiles a quick and flat smile. Wanted to catch you. I'm Junie. Her dark eyes flick around nervously. You notice the portable terminals she carries, something data scrapers call a DAC, and her backpack full of components and trailing wires. What's up? Karsten, she starts, still catching her breath. He sent me to grab you. He smiles, that flat smile again. Wants me to come with you on that job. Her eyes shoot down to the drive in the palm of your hand. She smiles again. I don't buy it! Why didn't he tell me? She glances back towards Karsten's. I guess he forgot? He does that sometimes. She looks sheepishly at you. He just grabbed me after you two were done talking, so... Karsten's always sending me on things like this. I guess he wants me to help you out. Keep an eye on things. She pauses. I can be pretty helpful. So, should I meet you at your ship? And you can tell me when you're ready to go? I'm not sure. She looks nervous. Sure, I mean, you aren't sure when you're leaving? I'm not sure you're coming. She pauses, thinking. I mean, Karsten said I need to go. She glances back in the shop's direction. And he does get pretty mad when people don't do what he asks. She shrugs. Let's see. Okay. Karsten doesn't like waiting, but it's up to you. Junie pushes off and waves. Looking forward to working with you. She calls back as an aftershot. You watch her disappear down the passage. Things are getting complicated already, but at least you have a contract and a way to get the feed lines. Junie clearly works with data, based on the gear she was looking around, which might make her useful when it comes to pulling out the data core. But the question is, what does she get out of it? Why didn't Karsten mention her sooner? Should we talk to Karsten? I don't know about this, Sleeper. Seraphin looks nervously out of the rig's windows as you finish explaining Karsten's deal, as well as Junie's offer to help. If this job was easy, Karsten would have done it himself already. That means there's a catch. He frowns at the stars. And there's definitely something going on with this Junie girl. She could be useful, no doubt. And we desperately need help on a job like this. What if we could get the cryo together to buy the feed lines? Is that even possible? I found a contract at the exchange, further in station. He gestures towards Hexport. We take on a job, that might get us some of the way towards buying those feed lines. Plus, even if we do want to take Karsten's job, a bit of money to get ourselves prepped wouldn't be a bad idea. Fill up on fuel, supplies, be ready for whatever comes. I'll take a look. While you're at it, you might want to see if you can scare up some freelance crew, too. Many hands make light work and all that. Or we stop messing around, we take Karsten's job right now and get it done before he can think twice. Seems like a whole set of bad options to me. Either way, I've still got work to do on the drive. Let me know what you decide. For a moment you pause, letting the haze of plans and ideas settle in your mind. Suddenly, you curl up, pain is shooting along your spine. You grit your teeth, your muscles locked tight. Your vision narrows as you squeeze your eyes shut. You feel a shift, as if some connection is broken. It's almost impossible to describe, like you're floating away from your body, dispersing, dissolving. There is nothing familiar in the pain, nothing to hold on to. You grit your teeth. And then another shift comes and you're back, in your body, trembling against the metal wall of the passage. The pain slowly fades, becoming a pulsing throb and then a residual flicker. You flex in 0G, stretching out the tension. There's a strange sensation of distance that persists beyond the pain. A disconnection between your body and yourself, a flickering numbness that refuses to recede. You wonder if the reboot has done something to your body, or if this is some new sensation you'll have to live with indefinitely. It strikes you that you know so little about the body that houses you. It could be moments away from collapse, or it might persevere for countless cycles like this. You try to shake off the feeling, pushing your hands against each other until they feel like they're yours again. Time's the only thing you need, and right now, it feels like it's running out fast. You head for the airlock. You have work to do. This game seems interesting. Never heard of this series. Most people haven't. That's one of the reasons I'm streaming it. I highly recommend picking up 1 while it's on sale. It's like $5 or $6 right now instead of 20. 2 is $25 on sale for 20, but I had to pick it up after beating the first one. Sale lasts a couple more days, I think. Whoop. All right, so contract board. Conway signal. They've located a Conway signal. They're they're concerned to see one so close and are looking for someone to disable it. So I have to pay them to accept the contract. I can't afford that. So I can't check with Karsten. Swift scrap Sol. Data diffusal shift. All scrapyards have paid data diffusal work to offer, as old tech tends to be laced with protocols and countermeasures that need disabling. Risky, but I have a plus. It's still going to be negative. Yeah, that's going to be rough. Anything else I can do? Is there a safe option here? That's going to cost me energy. Even if I put both dice in there, it's not going to help. So. Let's do this. Could have been worse. Alright, time for a nap. Hang on. Okay, so that would be if I have the feed lines. Regali would be to eat. Supplies are typically saved for contracts, but when food isn't readily available, you have to do what you can. Or do what you have to. Rest and recup. Well, that's good to know about. Alright, we'll explore. That's gonna go with the interface skill. So we're gonna do that. We're just gonna do that, because that's gonna give me the +2. There we go. As you are gliding across the docking concourse, you hear a scuffle. The noise of raised voices cuts through the conversation, drifting out of the dockside shops. Glancing down an alley, you see a huddle of figures shouting back and forth. You spot one man in the middle of the group, surrounded, pushing the others back as they grab at this bag slung over his shoulder. You don't like the way this looks. Then again, Seraphin told you to keep your head down. Causing a distraction. Neutral outcome. Okay, we're good. You look around for something that could break up the fight and see the thick cooling pipes running down the alley wall. You quickly try to understand the system and choose a valve to start spinning. As you do, the system begins to vent in sequence down the alley, violent jets randomly bursting into the air. There's a scramble in the alley, and you spot the figure who is being attacked drop down to the alley floor. Then your vision instantly fills with pale liquid as a jet of coolant jumps out nearby, missing you, but sending you spinning in 0G. After a few moments, you manage to steady yourself. As you do, you see a clear alley, the assailants having fled, with one figure gliding towards you. I suppose you think that was clever. The man gives you a severe look. You like to break up fights you didn't start. He laughs. Belt's gonna eat you up. He shifts the large bags on his shoulder, weightless but unwieldy in 0G. I was helping. The man laughs. Well, he shakes his head. Thanks, I guess. He kicks off and drifts past you. You watch the man go, and then, after a moment, he stops and turns back. He rubs his forehead, looking down as he does. What is your deal, anyway? Maybe you're new here, but Hexport is no place for do-gooders. I need help. The man raises his eyebrows. So you look for trouble? He shakes his head. You've got it all wrong. Look, let's not hang around, all right? The man pats his chest. I'm Femi. He unshoulders one of the bags and pushes it towards you. Make yourself useful. Let's head. You get the strap of the bag over your shoulder and follow him through the docks, gliding past the concourse towards the connecting bridges. He cuts down a side passage, looking back to check you're following. Then he stops at a docking bridge connecting to a dull green ship with yellow markings. You look out the viewing window at its odd, catamaran-like shape, seemingly built from two separate hulls welded together. Symbol crash, he says, and you assume that's the ship's name. Femi, you bringing in strays? A young woman, brightly dressed and stretching as she glides, drifts into the passage. She glances at you. No offense. Nia? Femi shakes his head. This one, he squeezes your shoulder, helped me fend off some Hexport scum while you were busy sunning yourself. Nia raises an eyebrow. I'm sure you could handle him, big brother. Her glib response hides the flash of concern that passed across her face. You can't tell if Femi noticed. Nia turns to you. Thanks, she smiles sweetly. And I am sorry for my brother. Just in general. Nia, Femi mutters. Enough now. He reaches over and takes the bag you were carrying. Nia rolls her eyes at you but stays silent. Factory Row wouldn't take these. Femi hefts the bags. I'm gonna load them back up. Maybe we'll find a use for him. He turns back to you. Thanks for the assist, Sleeper. He nods firmly. Not what I expected. He slaps the button for the bridge door and kicks off along the docking bridge on his way to the symbol crash. Nia looks at you with raised eyebrows. I hope my brother was joking. Or did you really help him? I tried. Thank you. She looks back at the ship. My brother needs more help than he admits. It's okay. She pauses, thinking. I want to ask you something. She takes a deep breath, then gives you a direct look. What is she building up to? Are you looking for crew? She looks away. Sorry to be direct, but you seem like, well, if you're on Hexport, maybe you're with a crew. She stops herself. I mean, maybe your crew needs crew. Maybe you're looking? I am. She struggles to hide her smile. Nia looks back at the ship, then at you. Look, I'll be honest. Being on a crew with my brother is nice, but he is suffocating me. She frowns at her own bluntness. I'm not a kid anymore, you know? But he still sees me like one. She shrugs. I want to show him I can handle myself. I need experience. I need to run some contracts. She gives you a determined look. What do you say? I'll think about it. I'm a good salvager, all right? You can use me. She smiles. I can spot things, find gaps, ways in. She folds her arms across her chest. I know what I'm doing. Femi taught me well. She glances back at the ship. Just consider it, all right? Let me prove myself. Suddenly a shout comes from the ship, echoing down the passage. Femi. He makes both of you nervous. Nia looks in his direction. I should go. She pushes off towards the docking bridge. I'll be waiting. Nia gives you one last glance as she departs, then disappears into the docking bridge, leaving you alone in the passage. Minor drive complete. I didn't even know about that. We got a skill point! So Endure is just off the table. In the previous game, by the end of the game, you have like almost max stats, and you can undo this. You can undo your demerit. That said, having negative Endure on hard mode seems problematic. But it is what it is. I also have a minus on Engineer. So I should... I don't know. I don't know how to get access to that. Hang on. Let me... Tutorial. Guide. Skill checks. Skills and dice and skills. No. Rig, stress, drives, upgrades, and push. You can upgrade your skills. You can also upgrade your push. While on a contract, you can use your push ability once a cycle. So while on a contract, you can use push. So that's why I can't use push here. All right, so we've got the warehouse now. Freight loading does endure. Awesome, great, love that. All right, that was a waste of my time, but I did access the potential crew. Trade hall, canteen, contract board. I have money, I can look for a new contract. Come on! Whatever, I get a positive here. And that gets me 10 cryo. I have a 1. Let's try rest and recover. There's no way a negative outcome actually hurts me. Minus stress, okay. Which I don't have any stress right now. So we're gonna go back to explore, we're gonna buy some food. Nap time. All right. So the bends. So if I do this, what am I getting from it? Let's try it. Plus a 9, okay. Should we try the contract board? Let's do it. I got 24 right now. New contract on map. Huh? Maybe it's out of... Oh, it's out here. Contracts are high-risk, high-reward jobs that you and your crew can take on. They require preparation and care. You need enough fuel, gather supplies, look for opportunities to recruit crew, consider which crew to take carefully. They have different skills and stress resistances, and who you choose can affect the story. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Disable signal source, 200 cryo. So I still need the fuel. Oh, whoops. This isn't where I thought I was. This one. -2. Oh, God. And that's going to be for the entire story? Oof. All right. All right. We're just going to work data defusal. We got a good amount of cryo. Let's go to... I can't get any other contracts now, right? No. All right, I already have that contract. We're gonna go to the trade hall. We're gonna buy all the fuel we need. We need to refill on supplies as well. Chance per cycle, okay. And we are good for now. All right, that's a quarter of our time gone. We need to keep working our butts off. All right, we're gonna do this. Let's leave. Let's get some food. 43. Don't be negative. All right, we're good. Back to this. We can fill up on supplies. Never experienced this run, my lord, why what's happening? All right. How do we recruit people? I don't have any stress. What can I do with a 2? What's the best way I can spend a 2 where I probably won't get punished? Canteen is just getting food. It's definitely not going to be here, right? No, because that's Endure. That is likely to lose me money, which I don't want. Whatever. If I lose an energy. Oh well. It was worth the risk. I feel like it's never worth leaving unless there's genuinely nothing that could give you a positive outcome. There's no reason to leave dice on the table. All right, guide crew. How do I get crew on board? Runs start with under average stats, but my star item was the guppy item that lets you respawn with 1 heart 9 times. First Devil Deal got an item that gives 100% each floor. Gives 100% what each floor? Stats suck, but I am just busted items galore. So if I do this, crew, okay. I'm not allowed to take them. I am allowed to take them back. Okay, I don't have to do this yet. 100% chance at a deal. I can just take all of the items with no risk of losing the run. Oh. Oh, I see. There are no events left. So yeah. What do we have? Board contract. We're doing the board contract. Map. Confirm vector. We're taking her. She's got plus intuition. And he's got double plus endure. Oh, wait, that's huge for us. I wonder if Seraphin always just has the stat you don't. It's a drone. Seraphin spots the signal first, the light barely shimmering off its dark hull plating, a design trait that betrays its covert use. A flash catches your attention, and you see a rent in the hull. A rend in the hull. Rent is whatever. Through which red lights pulse. Wounded. Seraphin shakes his head. Wish they'd finished the job. You've seen one before? Seraphin looks back over his shoulder towards you. We've seen one before. Don't you... Sorry. I know it isn't your fault. Damn straight, Seraphin. He looks at the drone. Lane had us work on one in a dark side bay, though it was barely a shell, disarmed and deactivated. He had us searching through its guts for salvage. Even that one gave me the creeps, and it had its core ripped out. He pushes the ship closer. This one's still live. Conway. Nia kisses her teeth. Corporate scum. The setting of this game is like post late stage capitalism. You glance over at her and see the fire in her bright eyes. They don't even dare to come here and force us out themselves. It's all proxies and drones. Typical core-bred cowards. Want to know him before? She glances at you. You might say that. She glances out at the drone. You won't see me taking my eyes off that thing for a second. Seraphin carefully guides the ship closer. You watch the drone. System is full of those things now, running missions for their operators. Rare to see one out in the belt, though. Maybe got hit during a run-in with Senate Stat Mercs. Looks like it's drifting. Most of the system's blown out, but look, there. He jabs a finger towards a red light on the far side of the drone. It's still broadcasting, maybe even receiving. How do we shut it off? Seraphin brings you ever closer. What I remember from the dark side job is that the central core and the broadcast array need to be shut off to kill these things. Core will turn off local systems, and broadcast array will sever the link with the Conway operators. But you can bet those systems are protected. Your attention is suddenly drawn by a shudder from the drone, like a tremor running along its length. This thing is rigged to blow, Sleeper. He frowns. We go slow and careful. We don't touch anything we don't know about. You hear that? I got you. Seraphin brings the rig to a stop, close enough for you to cross through open space to reach the drone's hull. Let's suit up. You head down to the airlock to prepare. As you get suited up, you think of the corporate war taking place in the inner system, the war that this drone was driven from. Out here, on the shore of the conflict, the biggest danger is that this flotsam and jetsam drifting in with the tides and orbits of the system might, one cycle, bring the war with it. For now, the belt is outside of its reach, but looking out at the red pulsing drone, that doesn't give you much comfort. Welcome to your first contract. While on a contract, you'll be able to assign 2 dice for each crew member as you would assign your own dice. Pay attention to the crew's skills to use them effectively. On certain outcomes, crew will take crew stress. When their stress is full, you can't use them anymore. While on a contract, your energy bar will automatically be supplied for each cycle that you have available supplies. When your supplies are depleted, you'll each take 1 stress per cycle. Contracts also have their own contract stress. When filled, the contract will fail. Both rolled 3 average. Interesting. Okay. So there's create an opening. There's identify route. Might be possible to slip into the gap in the drone's damaged hull, but once inside, where to go, how to find the broadcast array. So that would be a 4. I have a 6. Skill required, reprogram hatch. With the drone in such a reactive state, ready to fry itself in defense, perhaps reprogramming the hatch to open up to your crew is the best approach. Control access. Getting inside the drone requires as much care as much as force. Conway is highly protective of their proprietary systems. What is that? 1, 2, 3. I need 12. And on this one, 12 as well. Well, I have the most dice. And most of these are going to be positive outcomes. But they can't help with that. If I go back to here, I can do it and she can help. If I do this, even chance of positive and negative. Whereas with this, oh, this is 100% what's going to happen here. Control access. Just no negative outcomes, please. Whew, okay. They can't help with this, though. I very much don't want to do anything. Let me see. Is there anything we can do on the rig? So there's make a meal. There's the engine I can't do anything with. Crew quarters rest and recover. I'm gonna lose so many dice. I've got 5 dice left to use, but all of them are risky. And all of these are just trying to find a way in, right? Best not to worry too much. Y'all can just sit and wait. Oh, they both got a 6 and I got screwed. Okay, great. You have taken damage to a dice because of stress. When your dice are rolled at the start of the cycle, your stress indicates if you take damage or not. Higher stress means a higher chance of damage. The white markers above the stress bar tells you which numbers will damage your dice when rolled. Each dice has 3 dice health. When this is depleted, the dice will break and must be repaired to be used normally. Let me see. When at a hub, you can reduce stress at the rig bunks. Broken dice cannot be used. On safe difficulty, they cannot be counted as 1. If you have many broken dice and feel stuck, consider pausing to switching to safe in the pause menu to give yourself a chance to recover. Oh, okay. As your stress increases, you have a higher chance of taking damage to your action dice each time you roll them. Well, that sucks. If I jump over here... Want! Let's do it. Alright, bunks. Clock is ticking, there's no time to rest. You cannot recover stress while on a contract. Oh. Nap time. Alright, explore. Alright. That gets us in. You hear the bleeping immediately. Among the chambers and cabling of the drone's interior, something has started counting down. Guys? Nia's voice comes hissing through the suit's comm channel. Does anyone else hear that? Because I'm getting nervous. Shit. Seraphine's voice joins her. This is what I was worried about. Are we screwed? I can't be sure. Seraphine has dropped his voice to a whisper, as if that might make a difference. Either this thing's about to send out a distress call, or it's about to blow. We've got to shut this system down fast. He pauses. Then we move on to the other side, because I bet you there's a surprise waiting for us there, too. We good? Nia sounds tense. Am I heading back to the ship or what? We're good. We keep going. You take a moment in the silence. All right, I'm going to deal with this fast and then get over to the other side before something happens. Crap. So I needed access to both. Got it. All right, let's blast this thing open then. Let me see. Drone death, disable the core. Shut down the broadcast array. Once both are done, the Conway drone won't bother anyone anymore. During a contract, you can use your push ability once per cycle to give you an edge. Pushing accrues 1 stress, but will give you a key advantage based on your chosen class. You can see your current push configuration if you hold your mouse over the button. Your push cannot be used at a hub, but when at a hub, it can be upgraded. 6, 7, 8. Okay. But dice are going to take tons of damage if I keep using push. Oh well. All right. And he can help with this. God, I was dumb. This is gonna be a problem. My dice are so screwed. Oh my God, that was bad. Let's see. So I can do that. You can do this. She can do these. Positive. No. Okay, good. Hack the broadcast. Woo! Now that you're in the broadcast array of the drone, you'll need to shut it down fast. The simplest way is to put the entire system offline. Just don't be outright negative. Dunzo! The thrumming, pulsing interior of the drone goes still for the first time since you boarded it. You look at Seraphine and Nia and share a smile. You all exhale so loudly it can be heard over the suit's shared comm channel. The drone is dead. One less piece of Conway shit to worry about, Nia grins. We killed it. Don't get too excited. It was looking pretty rough when we got here. You make your way back out to the hull, the drone now faintly rolling in one direction. Its stabilizer's offline. Nia catches up with you as you glide toward the rig. We make a pretty good crew, Sleeper. We do. Nia grins widely. She punches you on the arm playfully. You reach the rig's airlock and take one last look at the drone's dark hull. It catches the light as it rolls in the vacuum. At some point, in the near future, this drone will likely be smashed to bits by one of the many asteroids of the belt, spread across the place as twinkling dust. The thought pleases you. As does the thought of all that cryo Hexport now owes you. Time to go collect. I'm surprised we're not just gonna tow this thing back. Map. You can go back. Once you leave, you can't return. Yep, get me the heck out of here. -5 stress during travel. Yay! After docking at Hexport, Seraphine lets go of the controls and leans back in his chair. Nia leans over to you. Thank you, Sleeper. She stretches. I know you took a chance on me. Glad to have you. She smiles in an infectious smile. Feels good to make a contract work, no matter how we pull it off. It's hard not to agree. And it feels better when the Hexport courier comes with a lockbox full of chits. Lane may still be hunting you, but this should help the effort to slip his net. Suddenly you hear a familiar voice. Nia! Femi glides into view, approaching from the docks. He fixes you with a stare. What are you playing at, Sleeper? Nia wanted to come. You go to speak, but Nia drifts forward, cutting you off. Don't come throwing your weight around, Femi. I can make my own decisions. She glances back at you. Sleeper took me at my word, and I'm grateful. Femi is fuming. Did they now? He turns to you. Well, if you're working for Sleeper, I hope they paid you well. Nia looks away. Well, I asked, so... Femi smiles. Oh, so they aren't paying you? Seraphine crosses his arms. Let's keep this civil. You realize this is the first time he's meeting Femi. If we're being civil, seems like Nia's owed her share. Yeah, she is. You grab a quarter of the chips from the lockbox and hold them out to Nia. She takes them sheepishly. All right, then. Femi smiles. We're good here. He turns to leave. Nia mouths a sorry and follows Femi across the docks. Seraphine watches them go. You sure know how to pick 'em, Sleeper. He shakes his head. He turns away and heads back along the docking bridge. I just hope we aren't going to end up a stack of cryo short when we need to get out of here. Yeah, well, she's the reason we could do that at all. You just completed a drive and earned an upgrade point. You have push upgrades available. Oh, I'm spending it. Reroll cannot be a 1. Reroll random dice, but +1 rolled. Oh, I can do one or the other, can't I? Yeah, I think it's one or the other. All right, how do I repair these? Excuse me. Let's look around. Sell scrap, scrapyard shift, data diffusal. Eat at the canteen. Warehouse. No. No. Let's go to Hexport Trade Hall. Fill up on these. Ah. There we go. Ba-da-da-dum. Contract work? Nothing left. This will help you reduce stress, but how do I repair guide? Dice. Stress and dice health. When at a hub, you can repair dice at the rig workshop by using rare and scrap components, because I don't have that. This is a problem. I'm assuming it takes a cycle to get there, right? In which case, I should blow my dice here. Let's get moving. I don't know if I want to bring Junie. I mean, I definitely want to bring Junie, but I feel like I'm gonna get screwed if I do. My luck ended. Beat the run. Didn't get to coin 10% to keep the run going. Oh. Her skill is interfacing, right? That's my skill, too. I don't need her. Here's the question, though. If I don't bring her with, does her plotline end? So if I bring her, she's gonna screw me somehow. I don't think that would prevent me from getting the fuel lines. And it's possible that she would come back as a character later. If I don't bring her, there's a chance I fail this mission. There's a chance her plotline, her plotline ends, and I never see her again. Let's take her. I still think she's gonna screw me in regards to this quest, but I don't think it's gonna be game ending. And I'd like to follow her quest line if I can, but I will not be surprised when she screws me. And if bringing her along causes me to fail this run, whatever. The Solheim derelict fills the cockpit windows, all twisted plates and skeletal strutwork. You watched in horror and fascination as Seraphim completed the approach, both of you silent in the presence of this decaying beast. Now, as you settle beside it, Seraphim is the first to break the silence. This thing's already dead. He shakes his head. It's a corpse, Sleeper. He nudges the ship closer, looking for a place to dock. I touch this thing too hard, it'll crumble to dust. Let's not do that. Aye, aye. Any other tips? Take us up there. That's the bridge. Junie points towards one end of the ship, and both you and Seraphine turn around, having forgotten she was even in the cockpit. She hasn't said a word since you departed. She glances at both of your bemused faces. What? She looks away. Sorry, that's where we need to go. She stops pointing. Seraphine nods towards Junie. She's not wrong, Sleeper. Bridge would be a good start. Let's assess it first. Junie settles silently back into her seat. She looks away, out the cockpit, and you're unsure if she's upset or just embarrassed. Carefully, Seraphine brings the ship close to the derelict and guides it along the hull. The rig's lights ripple over the broken surface, finding gaps and cracks everywhere. It seems remarkable that the derelict is still held together. Shit! Seraphine hisses as a huge spinning piece of debris drifts in front of the cockpit. He pushes the rig down beneath it, squeezing between debris and hull, and as he does so, an ear-splitting screech signals the rig is scraping across the derelict's skin. You freeze for a moment, waiting for the breach sirens to sound. But the moment passes and you relax. You glance at Seraphine. His face betrays no emotion. This isn't safe. Seraphine shakes his head. I'm gonna find somewhere better to settle the ship, and we need to suit up and work our way along the hull on foot. You look back at Junie and see her still in her seat, eyes wide. You okay? Junie looks at you, and there's a sudden unfamiliar hardness in her eyes that surprises you. Then a moment later, it's gone, and her gaze softens. I'm okay. She smiles a flat smile. Don't worry. Seraphine brings the ship away from the derelict's hull an inch at a time, then slowly brings it round to settle close to a mostly intact hull plate. This section is fairly free of debris. He nudges the ship a little closer. We should be good to hold here. Seraphine unclips from his seat, and you and Junie follow suit. As you all glide down towards the airlock, Junie silently follows. You can't help but feel judged. As you reach the airlock, Seraphine begins suiting up. If we're lucky, that little collision hasn't started a cascade that will end with this place coming apart under our feet. Seraphine violently kicks his legs into a set of EVA trousers, clearly irritated by his own carelessness. This is a delicate job, Junie says quietly, almost to herself. The data core will be fragile. She casts a furtive glance in the direction of you and Seraphine. Very fragile. Understood. The rest of the preparation process takes place in tense silence, each of you considering the delicate job ahead. You suit up too, though you don't need a helmet to breathe. You slide one on and lock the seals for protection. This wreck isn't going to give up its salvage easily. The core should be near the bridge, maybe even inside it. But there's a lot of wreck here, and there might be good salvage tucked away in the cargo hold. Once the suits are on and the seals are checked, you cycle the lock and stare out at the vast expanse of the twisted hulk before you. It's time to go. Alright, bridge first. Although both should be out, of course. Hang on. What does this take? And then this one? Okay, so he's neutral on everything. She's negative. Oh my god. And her roll sucked. Yeesh. Alright. Force the lock. Contract stress triggered a crisis. A crisis will add 1 contract stress per cycle unless resolved at the crisis location. Okay. So where's the crisis? It's up here. Derelict's hull is falling apart. If this breach isn't sealed and fast, the entire wreck will collapse. Okay. Oh, crap. Love that. Okay. Well, that's there, I guess. Nice. So that's 5, 4, 3. That's going to do either energy or stress. It's going to be stress, actually. Although it's probably just going to be personal stress. But still. Alright. We're getting closer to entry. What about you? Oh, perfect. I don't want to push. I really don't want to push. Those rolls were all really bad. You're kidding me. Bro, your rolls are bad. Alright, we've got another crisis. The bridge of the derelict lies silent. The pale beams of your suit lamps catch rows of terminals and clouds of glittering dust. Wires wave like seaweed, and the whole scene appears as if underwater. Chaotic, but still. Junie glides past you, disturbing the dust and taking you by surprise as she does. She's been a stoic presence so far, but in this moment she seems drawn forward by some force of curiosity. You watch as she bats away debris and begins checking terminals. She's already prying an access panel off of one of the more intact-looking terminals, and as she does, puffs of rust color the vacuum around her. She turns back to the terminal and finishes prying off the plate, then quickly she reaches inside, fishing around for something. Her hand comes back out with a waving cable topped with a thick connector. As soon as she sees it, she slips a keyboard-sized deck out from somewhere on her person. She runs her hand across the back until she finds the right port and slots in the connector. All of this happens in a few seconds, the routine practiced and precise. It's hard not to be impressed. Nicely done. We'll see. We'll see. She says so quietly it seems mostly to herself. Junie's fingers dance across the deck's keyboard and a burst of static lights up the Solheim terminal screen. The sudden burst of light and color takes you by surprise. Junie's fingers tap away, the terminal's screen flashing with blocks of color and lines of code. It buzzes and vibrates, its long-dead systems forced back into chaotic life. Then, all at once, it goes dark. The terminal's dead. Shit, Junie hisses beneath her breath. Useless. You cannot tell if the insult is directed at the terminal or herself. There are plenty more. She looks up at you, a confused expression on her face, then scans around the bridge. I suppose. She pauses. But even from here, I can see that most of them are less than scrap. The cradle with the data core can't be far. She pushes off from the terminal, gliding away from you. I'll start looking, she calls back and heads to the other side of the bridge. Everything all right? What do you think of Junie? The kid? You'd know better than me. Keeps to herself. Seraphin stretches in his suit. I have to admit, it's nice to be back working, especially now that we are the ones who will reap the benefits. Feels good to be taking our fate into our own hands. I know it's pretty rough there, back on Hexport, and out here we're just as likely to get shredded by debris as find the damn data core, but aren't you glad we made it a break for it? He pauses and looks down, having asked the question almost by accident. I mean, I am. I just don't want to speak for you. I'm glad too. Seraphin smiles. You better be. I didn't give up that little dark side cupboard I was living in for nothing. Look, Seraphin checks his suit's wrist seals. Once we've got a bit of space behind us, once we've gone that distance, if we even manage to get that far, don't feel you owe me. I'm no charity case. You want us to go our separate ways? Fine by me. Just do me the favor of telling it to my face. That won't happen. After a moment, he shines his torch out into the dark, checking the rows of terminals all the way across the bridge. You watch the glittering dust as it eddies in the beam. Let's get to it. You watch as he crosses the bridge, his torch probing the dark corners. You feel a chill run through your body as you imagine the people that once ran this ship. The Solheim crew. Surely long dead. What was it like here before the collapse, when this system was the jewel in Solheim's crown? It's impossible to know. That history is lost to you now. All you can do is pick what you can from the ruins. Also, the collapse wasn't some cataclysm. It was the company, Solheim, literally collapsing. It was a corporate collapse, not a physical one. Come on, don't screw me. Positive. Dang it. This is gonna jump up to there next time. I can't do that. Couple freaking ones. God. My luck is so bad. Again, 2 ones. What are you? Oh my god, dude. What am I supposed to do with you? We can't even work on this one. Golly. All right, let's knock this thing out. Oh my god. One of my dice broke. Alright. And none of us can do that. Awesome. Love that. That's just freaking great. Let's make sure that's positive. All right. Isolate the core. How long do I have? I have 1 turn. Data core extraction. Okay. So next turn I can finish the data core extraction, which is what was needed. And then over here, yeah, no, we're not. Wait, hang on. No. Seraphin, you are just not going to do anything. Your rolls are terrible. All of these rolls are terrible. Oh my god. Alright. Let's get this done. Alright. We got the core. You watch nervously as Junie guides the core out of the cradle. A large ball.
Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Hello, McRae. How you doing? A large ball, almost half your height in diameter. It glides up out of the framework that held it, connections waving loose and cut. Sir, who the hell are you? There's the reaction I was expecting. I think this is the first time I've shaved since I started streaming. In fact, it is. That's okay. It'll be back. Enjoy it while it lasts. Her breathing comes through the suit's comms loud enough to be picked up, and it fills you with tense energy as you watch. Over the course of this job, you've seen Junie both focused and distracted, nervous and precise, but you have not seen her any more confident than in this moment now. She floats beside the data core, handling it with care and skill as if it was the vast egg of some endangered bird. She glances up and sees you watching her, and you notice something unfamiliar in her eyes. Something you have perhaps seen in a passing moment before, only now it is no momentary lapse or change. It's set in place. You see determination. Nah, second time. You look like Amish when I first found you. Oh, yeah, no, I trimmed down. Did I shave completely? I don't think I shaved completely, did I? I trimmed down. But I don't know if I ever went, bald-chinned. She guides the core a little away from you with one hand, and at the same time comes forward, almost placing herself between you and her prize. And it does seem to be hers, in the way she handles it, the possessive way she screens it with her body. We need to talk. It's been years and I'm old, that's fair. The statement comes flat and deadpan, any nervous tremble gone, right now. Okay. Sleeper, I want to be honest with you, but I need to know you won't take this from me. Junie glances around the cradle defensively, but Seraphin is already heading back to the ship to prepare the cargo bay for the core storage. You two are alone. Tell me and we'll see. Fine. She folds her arms, but it's staying with me. Karsten doesn't deserve this. This treasure, Sleeper. Ginny glances over her shoulder at the core. Do you know how many of these are intact? She shakes her head. And all he wants to do with it is wipe it clean so he can use it to interface with Hexport. All that data, gone. So what do you want? I want to extract the data, to make use of it. You see some genuine emotion flicker in her eyes. She sighs. After extracting the data, the core will be unusable. There's a security system that will fry it if data duplication is attempted. I can delay the security response long enough to copy the data, but after that, she trails off. You've done this before. She looks down. Yes. This is why I came. Look at this place, Sleeper. She gestures to the cradle room, a dark and twisted cavern of long-dead tech. How many of these places are left? How many chances do we have to recover anything this old, this fragile? Like it or not, we live in Solheim's shadow, in their ruins. And yet we know almost nothing. What chance do we have of understanding how we got here when others like them, like Senatestat and Conway, are descending on this system? What can we learn from it? I don't know, Sleeper. That's the point. We could learn our history and how this system was settled. We could better learn the technology we build our lives on. We could uncover Solheim's crimes and seek to make amends. She looks at you with pleading eyes. We could see beyond survival, towards something else. You've never heard Junie speak like this, and you realize what you have taken for nervousness was actually control. This, the person in front of you is defending a decaying data core with her life, is the real Junie. But then you think of Lane, of the price he likely put on you and Seraphin's heads, and of the feed lines, without which leaving Hexport would be almost impossible. Is this even a choice? We'll explain. Junie listens carefully as you tell her about the deal with Karsten, the feed lines he offered you, and that both you and Seraphin are on the run. Then I'll help you. Ginny doesn't flinch. We find another way to get those feed lines. Karsten is an idiot. I can hack his security, or we can pull them out of there, or... Seraphin looks tough. Maybe he can grab them. We can do it. We can do anything. Don't you work for him? Look, I knew you wouldn't take me if... I might have misled you there. I knew he knew where the derelict was, and I heard your conversation. I've been keeping an eye on him. I know I lied, but I can help you. Let me strip the data from the core, and I promise to help you get the feed lines. She meets your eyes with intensity. It's a lot of information to take in at once. You need a second to think. Let's do it! Thank you. Jenny looks genuinely moved. This is a gift to all of us, Sleeper. I hope you will see it like that. Jenny turns to the data core, quickly gathering one of its loose connections. She takes out her deck and plugs it in, then crosses her legs and places it across from them, floating tethered beside the core. Does it choose your own adventure story? Something like that. I would say the closest equivalent is a single-player tabletop RPG. Her fingers begin tapping at the keyboard, teasing out the core's data and whatever Solheim secrets it might contain. As she does, Seraphin enters. He braces himself in the doorway. What's she doing? Junie doesn't seem to notice. Should I... I don't think I can stop him if I admit that she's destroying the core. I want to tell him the truth. Tell the truth? She's doing what? Seraphim jumps to attention, but you put a hand on his shoulder. He eyes you suspiciously. I hope you know what you're doing, Sleeper. He nods towards the core. That's our ticket out of Hexport. Junie will help. If you say so. Oh, thank God. You both turn to watch Junie stripping the core of its secrets. A little while later, once the core has been emptied out and its defense mechanism has scorched its seams black, you watch the metallic sphere spinning gently in the room and wonder if you've just made a terrible mistake. Contract failed. All right, can we get the scrap out of here at least? Wait. Yeah, we're one away from this thing collapsing. Okay. Deep base. What can we get? Extract raw scrap using Endure. Alright, I guess we're done here. There's a horrifying lurch. You're sent spinning through the bay you were crossing in a hail of debris. You watch as the side of the bay silently tears open in front of you, a gaping black maw toothed with flying debris. You stare into it, your breath heavy in your ears, your eyes wide. Suddenly you feel a tug on your back. Your tether! You spin back from the sudden arrest of your glide. You see Seraphim holding onto the other end, reeling you towards him. We have to go, Sleeper. His voice comes urgently over the comms channel. This place is done. You both make your way up through the splitting derelict in silence, charting a path through what were once passages, but are now twisted tubes, like the intestinal tract of some dead creature. Eventually you make it out onto the surface and find the rig still tethered, but gashed with debris and scars. You and Seraphim exchange concerned glances. We're gonna pay for this. He looks over the damage. Let's hope she still flies. You tether together and push off from the hull, Seraphim guiding you through the debris. Below you, the derelict is exploding in slow motion, tearing apart into a swarm of razor-edged shards. I sure as hell hope Junie's gonna come through for us, Sleeper. You hear Seraphim on your private channel. Because if you gave her that core for nothing, then this contract was the biggest waste of time I've ever seen. It's gone. Junie's voice comes through faintly over the comms. She must already be on the ship. Thankfully we got the core. No shit, Seraphim answers back. Contract's a bust. What a waste, Junie says quietly, and then the channel clicks off. You arrive at the rig's airlock and bundle yourself inside, noticing the exterior damage. It looks mostly superficial, but will no doubt take its toll on the ship. Once you're back in the cockpit, you look out at the derelict's shattered form. It seems you will be its last visitors. Alright, let's go home. Did you ever beat Resident Evil 4? I sure did. Excellent game. As you arrive into Hexport, Junie speaks up from the back of the cockpit. We're gonna have to act fast if we want to take those feed lines. You and Seraphim exchange glances. You're both still getting used to this new Junie. We? Seraphim raises an eyebrow. Only one of us fried the core and stole all its data. He shoots you a look. And for some reason we let you. We can make it work. What I'm wondering, Sleeper, is why we have to. Seraphim looks infuriated. I don't think Karsten is going to take kindly to the idea that we brought someone pretending to work for him on the job and let her have his prize. He points at Junie like she's an object. Do you even know what she's up to? Junie looks between the two of you. Hexport hasn't exactly been kind to me. You two trusted me, even though I didn't deserve it. I'm not used to that, and I want to repay it. Not to mention that Karsten is probably ripping you off. Even if you get enough cryo, what's to say he won't raise the price? Trust me, he's no good. I was trying to deal with Karsten to get those derelict coordinates from the moment I arrived here, and he ran me in circles. She shakes her head. Seraphim is watching her closely. Even if I do take you at your word, which, given everything, seems a little tough, how do we even do this? He raises an eyebrow. You're telling me we just drift in there and take the feed lines? Look, I get it. You don't trust me. She pauses. But what if I have a vested interest in this working out? There's nothing left for me here. and I don't much feel like hanging around waiting for Karsten to figure out my involvement in all this. I need safe passage. You need the feed lines to grant it. She allows herself a smile. See where I'm going with this? Seraphin sighs. I don't like it. He pauses, but it makes sense. What do you think, Sleeper? I like it. All right then, let me prepare. I'll head to Factory Row, scope the place out. Meet me there and we can work out a plan. She glances between the two of you. Trust me, we can find a way. We'll keep it simple, clean. Simple is good. Agreed, Seraphin cuts in. His dark look betrays his concerns. I'm so screwed. I'll go in, scope out the bay we need in Factory Row. We should split up. Less likely for Karsten to suspect us. Meet me there in a few and we can finish setting up. Junie unclips from her seat, floating. I want to show you I can be trusted. That we can do this. She looks between the two of you. Believe that, please. And with that, she slips away down the passage towards the airlock and Hexport beyond. You look at Seraphin. I'm saying nothing, Sleeper. He unclips from his seat too. Either this is the kind of mess you have to go through to get out the other side, or it's the kind that you never escape. Either way, we're in it now. You stare at the chaotic lights of Hexport and wonder if anything in the Starward Belt ever runs smoothly. Is he here yet? He's here. Seraphin wakes you gently. Sleeper, we're out of time. He checks the door to the bunks, and you hear a faint banging in the corridor beyond. He turns back and meets your eye. They're here. We have to go! Quiet. Why do you think I'm waking you up? They've locked the ship into the station. We can't release the docking bridge. Our credentials are being refused. We're trapped. A sudden banging echoes through the ship. Seraphin looks away towards the source of the sound. I don't know if they know we're here, but they certainly want to get in. He shakes his head. I reckon we have minutes before they get the cutting torch. What do? The feed lines are a bust. They aren't going to happen now. Our best chance is to burn out of here as fast as we can and hope our drift takes us to a station when we run out of fuel. At least we might live for a few more cycles before we starve. Problem is, we need to release the lock Hexport has on us. Otherwise, we aren't going anywhere. Seraphin looks down. And I need to pilot the ship. So what I'm saying is, I have to release the lock. Exactly. I'm sorry, Sleeper. There are some big manual release levers inside the docking bridge itself. But to get to them, you're going to have to go out through the airlock. And once you do, you'll need to get back in as the docking bridge releases. If you mess it up, you're going to get sent spinning into the black. Okay. I'll be at the controls waiting. Seraphin gives you a nervous look. The moment you're back in the airlock, I'll burn hard. He clasps you by both your shoulders and looks you in the eye. Then, without saying anything, he releases you and glides out of the room. You drift down to the airlock as quickly and as quietly as you can, slipping into a suit for protection. At least, you think, as you secure the seals, you don't need to breathe. The banging subsides, and you hope the hunters have left, even though you know this is only the quiet before the storm. You take a moment, waiting inside the airlock as it cycles. The second the exterior door begins to open, you go. As you dash out the airlock, the scene in front of you appears as if in slow motion. You see two figures a little way down the docking bridge, wearing dark spacesuits, a canister carried between them. Meanwhile, floating between you and them is a heavy-duty cutting torch, knocked spinning open by the airlock doors. You see the release levers in yellow hazard stripe just beyond the hunters. You know you're lucky, and you know you only have a moment to make your move. Rush for the levers. You shift your position, trying to aim for one lever before kicking hard and stretching out, making yourself as small a target as possible. The two hunters try to grab you as you pass, but you spin away from them, struggling through their reaching arms. As you do, you reach out to the lever, stretching your fingertips to wrap around its end. You clasp the head of the lever and the momentum wrenches it out of its housing, the whole bridge rumbling and twisting as one side comes loose. As you kick off to the other side and use all your force to pull the other lever open, you feel the fizz of projectiles slicing through the air around you. The hunters are firing. A scream blocks out all sound, and you feel an urgent pull tugging you away from the ship. The tunnel bends sickeningly and then comes apart. You're close enough to the ship that you manage to kick back, away from the twisting storm of debris that the tunnel becomes. You see the dark suits of the hunters among it, retreating towards the station side airlock. But as they do, a hail of projectiles slices across the void from their direction. You have no time to react. You're carried backward by the hunter's stun rounds, their impact shutting off whole sections of your frame. You spin towards the open airlock, your vision flashes with warning signs, and you feel a distant, throbbing pain. The final, faint things you feel before you lose consciousness are the impact of your body against the interior wall of the airlock, the hiss of the cycling system, and the heavy weight of the ship in full burn. What the? Seraphin's quiet question wakes you from your haze as the rig cuts across the belt. You try to move and feel a wave of flickering pain pass through your body. Oh my god! You flinch and steady your nerves. You find yourself strapped into a seat in the cockpit. Seraphin doesn't seem to have noticed you're awake. You open your mouth to speak, but no words come out. There's a crackle of noise that echoes through the ship's comms. Seraphin is glancing nervously at his console. Something has him spooked. Sleeper. The voice, as distorted as it is, cuts through you. Oh god, it's Lane. I know you're there. A hissing pause. You're slipping away. A squawk of noise. But we can't have that. You don't understand why Seraphin isn't reacting to the sound of Lane's voice. Then you realize he can't hear it. The voice is in your head. I take this personally, Sleeper. A sharp intake of breath. After all my investment, all my care expended upon you, this is how you repay me. I see a little something glinting out there, Lane continues. Could that be you? You don't move. You don't breathe. All you hear is Lane's voice. Something shifts in you, a sudden impetus, a will to move that is not your own. You unclip from your restraint, drifting forward towards Seraphin. Seraphin looks over his shoulder and sees you. You're up. He looks surprised. Take it slow, all right? There's a transmission coming out of Hexport. Some kind of evac order? He turns back to his console. Let me check this. You keep moving. Something isn't right. You don't feel right. A numbness grows in your body, your fingers flexing without your input. You reach out towards Seraphin. No, not you. Something reaches out to Seraphin through you. He turns again to see you reaching for him, grasping at his neck. Attention flickers in his eyes. Fear. A hissing silence. Then a rumbling blast. All at once the rig screams, systems seizing in electromagnetic paralysis. All at once, the rig shifts, carried on some shockwave of light. Pain, then darkness. Voices echo warmly through your mind. You can't quite make out what's being said, and any attempt to focus causes a growing flare of pain, so you let them fill the air, unidentifiable and soft. You're floating, and so you cannot yet feel your body or its weight. The feeling is pleasant, soothing, and yet the moment you realize this, it begins to fade. Pain shoots through your system, a reminder of the terrible damage you've suffered. It's bright, white-hot for a moment, then it's gone. You're possessed! Something spasms in your fingers, and you flick it away. A sensation crosses the sole of your foot, and you kick your leg. A weight settles itself in your chest. You're awake. You open your eyes to light playing across a surface patterned with stained cushioning. You are alone. The voice is replaced by the hum of air cycling, the distant clank of maintenance systems. You're alone, and this is not your ship. You jerk upwards against the straps that hold you loosely to the berth, suddenly confronted with the last things you remember. An overwhelming numbness, and below it, an insipid, animating force creeping through your mind. You pull at the straps and free yourself, floating up into the small habitation room, cushioned and worn, your mind racing. What happened? You search back and remember only Seraphin's shouts, the sudden acceleration of the rig, and then darkness. A chill runs through you. Cold light fills the room, and you float over to the dark square of the window. You see stars, the bright pinpricks of drive trails, and skeletal docking bridges. This is a station. A sudden hiss draws your attention to the door, which slides open with a puff of equalizing pressure. The entering figure jumps as they see you're awake. You're up. They hesitate at the doorway. Bliss! Let's go! Bliss was a character in the previous game. Where's Seraphin? Your friend, right? They laugh nervously. I'm not really sure. He headed out a while ago. I'm Bliss. They shrug, not sure of what to add. Your friend. Seraphin? Is out. Sorry. He brought you here. Here? Right. They nod slowly. This is my room. They glance around. Not much, I know. We're in my repair bay on the far spindle, if you know where that is. In the belt? Yeah. In the belt. Excuse me? They look around at the room again. Come on, let's go somewhere a little more comfortable. They hold out a hand. You're safe. Don't worry. You follow them out into the corridor, gliding behind them. They move with the ease of someone who was either born in 0G or spent most of their life in it. They guide you to an enclosed balcony where heavily scratched, thick acrylic windows look out onto a chaotic-looking wet dock. At the center of the dock is the rig, scratched and worn. Still your ship. It's a reassuring sight. She okay? She will be when I'm done with her. Bliss sees you staring at the rig. Took some damage, but she's a hardy old thing. Your ship. Bliss pauses. You were lucky I heard your distress signal. You sense they're holding something back. I guess that expensive long-range array I was tricked into buying finally paid off. They laugh to themselves. Well, at least for someone. You were out cold when I got there, and have been for all the cycles since. Your friend wasn't in great shape either, but he bounced back fast. I make a habit of doing that. Seraphin's voice makes you spin around. Hey, new outfit! Good to see you up. He can't suppress his smile. Glad to be back. He nods. Your eyes fall to Seraphin's bandaged abdomen. He notices and pulls his jacket over the wound. Certainly looks better than when you came in. You should have seen. Bliss abruptly stops after Seraphin glares in their direction. Here. Seraphin pulls a few chits out of his pocket. Catch. He slings them over to Bliss. That's all I could get for now. Working in your condition? Please, I'm fine. Bliss looks at you apologetically. I know what it looks like, but I'm sorry. I can't work for free. Keeping this place is bad enough. I get it. Seraphin nods. We're just thankful you towed us in. We aren't freeloaders. Bliss looks between the two. The two of you. I'll let you two catch up. They turn to you. I'm glad you're awake. We were worried. They pat you on the shoulder and glide back down the corridor. With Bliss gone, silence descends on you and Seraphin, both unsure what to say. What happened? What do you remember? He glances at you with concern. Lane. Seraphin grimaces at the mention of his name. Lane? He shakes his head. Seraphin looks out at the rig. He takes a breath, steeling himself for what he has to say. Hexport is... He clears his throat. It's gone. What do you mean gone? It's gone. Seraphin catches your eye. Dropped off the map. No signals apart from one sent from fleeing ships. I don't know what happened. No one does. Your mind skips, unable to focus on the information you've just been told. You think of the constant activity of the bends, the rumble of Factory Row. Karsten. Gone. By the time Bliss reached us, we'd drifted out of range. They couldn't have seen it go up, but I saw Sleeper. Something exploded. White hot. He rubs his arms, suppressing a shiver. A moment later, the shockwave was on us. The rig was crippled. Engine kept firing, but guidance went offline, sending us arcing out across the belt. He drops a hand inside his jacket, pressing against the bandage on his side. I managed to get her under control, but not before we started spinning. My restraints came loose and you weren't even strapped in, so we both got scrambled. He smiles a weak smile. Felt like being trapped in an auto wash. He turns back to you. I'm impressed you made it, to be honest. Flesh and blood human would have been smashed to pieces. He goes silent, the image a little too raw for him to continue. No way it had anything to do with us. I can't believe it. You and all the belt. All anyone is seeing is debris and radiation. I picked up a lot of ship transponders before the rig went offline. Maybe some people got out. He stops, unable to add anything more. You both float in silence for a moment. So we lost our tail? Seems like it. At least that shockwave would have burned our trail out of the belt for now. We already owe Bliss for the work they did on the rig, and it isn't finished yet. A few more cycles, I've been told. Bliss won't hold us hostage, but I don't like to skip out without paying, even if we could get the rig started up. He rubs his necklace between his fingers. Bad karma. Beyond that, we need work. Fuel, supplies. We need to make sure you're okay. He counts off the issues on his fingers. After that, he shrugs. I haven't heard of anyone coming after us, and if they did, they'd have to come through Hexport. Or what's left of it. Farspindle is way out of Lane's territory anyway. They call this bit of the belt the Wash, and the stations here run differently to Darkside. So, for now, we have some freedom. Seraphin sighs. Freedom to go broke, starve, and get into even more trouble, that is. In all honesty, I was hoping you might have some ideas. Pats you on the shoulder. Let's look for a contract. You won't hear any complaints from me. We won't be able to fly out for a few cycles yet, but it won't hurt us to have something lined up. He pauses and looks away. Seraphin pauses and stares down. Look, Sleeper. He rubs his side. I'm not sure I can work right now. I just got kicked out of a salvage yard for passing out on the job. He looks away. Even with the pain meds I've been able to scare up. I can fly, that's for sure. He stares obstinately at the rig. But you're gonna need some crew if you want to do any serious work. I'm sorry. You need to be careful. I'm trying. He turns away. I'm gonna take a rest on the rig. I'm wiped. You look out at the rig as he leaves, the warmth and softness of your waking moments now feeling like a distant memory. Is this what you wanted? Freedom? A chance to work for yourself, not Lane? Well, here it is, with all the problems and complications you could imagine. And at what cost? Could Lane have wiped out Hexport just trying to end you? You shiver at the thought. But if not Lane, then who? Theories cloud your mind. Now's not the time for theories. You run your hands along your body, feeling the marks and holes left by the hunter's weapons, and you know in the moment you've been irreparably damaged by the encounter. You realize these scars are reminders. You will not be caught like that again, you swear. You take a breath. Time to make a plan. You have gained some glitch. Glitch is a penalty you gain from repairing dice and from Lane's attempts to hack your system. Your current level of glitch is represented by the glitch clock to the right of your dice. You can have a maximum of 6. Each level of glitch you gain will increase your chance at rolling a glitched dice at the start of the cycle. Each time you roll a glitched dice, you clear 1 level of glitch. A glitched dice has an 80% chance of a negative outcome when used and a 20% chance of a positive outcome. Great. So glitch feeds itself. Freaking great. How do I get rid of that? I don't think I can. Well, that sucks. I don't know if we'll do another contract, but let's explore the station a little bit before I wrap up. I've got something I'm going to do later this evening. So we're stuck waiting on that. Alright. So there's something down here, the underhang. Help the residents wander. Is there something I can do that's safe? No. No, there's nothing safe. Awesome, I love that. Glitch dice. This is gonna cost energy, isn't it? But we did get credit towards the life underneath. Alright, nap time. Oh, wait, hang on. Nemba's Kitchen. Earn a meal. Nemba's Kitchen serves those that can't work in the underhang, but able-bodied visitors like you have to work a kitchen shift to eat. It's not bad. That's a decent deal. A brief respite. Hexport's demise has put a barrier between Darkside and the Far Spindle. Lane can't follow, so for now, you're safe. Oh! I see. So glitch builds, and then when you get dice, it takes away. Oh. Shout out to some garbage rolls that I just got. You know what? We're probably gonna get negative anyway. Let's find out what it is. Ooh! Get a positive outcome with glitch dice. Very nice. So we got energy back. Spindle core. No, we'll finish down below. All right, one more day. You awake to the sound of blaring proximity alarms. You quickly unstrap from your bunk and dizzily glance around. Lane? Bounty hunters? You kick off and glide to the door. As you do, Bliss pops their head around the corner. Sorry. They look a little sheepish. In all honesty, it's not my fault. Your wiring's all backward. It takes you a moment to understand what's happening. You steady yourself against the door frame. Sorry, I'm just a little jumpy. I get it. Bliss looks down. Didn't mean to wake you. It takes you a while to get ready and drift down to the mess to see what's happening. By then, Bliss has turned off the alarms. You find them unspooling wires from a hatch you'd never previously noticed in the mess's ceiling. Sorry again, Sleeper. Their voice comes through the ceiling panels, muffled and dull. You settle at a stool, neatly tucking your legs behind the crossbar. How are you doing? Me? Bliss's muffled voice echoes around the room. I'm working. A pause. Helps keep my mind off things. How's the ship? Bliss spins deftly. Oh god, I'm gonna have to wrap up. I can't read anymore. Hooking their legs into the open ceiling so that, from your perspective, they're hanging upside down. Almost done, if you can believe it. Their messy hair floats above their head. A couple cycles worth of diagnostics and I'll be happy enough to release her back to you. A yawning Seraphim drifts in. He looks between the two of you, amused. What are you both doing up so early? You and Bliss exchanged amused looks. What? Seraphim asks. You didn't hear the alarm? He shrugs. Heavy sleeper. That's gonna be a problem. He drifts over to the mess's cupboards to hunt for some breakfast. Could also be the pain meds. You turn back to Bliss, but they've disappeared back into the ceiling panels. Before long, the mess is filled with the shrill screech of a power tool. Seraphim looks totally unaffected and hooks himself onto a stool, lazily sucking at a ration pouch while he taps away at his slate. The screech finally stops. After a while, you kick off from your stool. Time to head out. Bliss rushes after you, stopping you in the passageway before you can leave. I have something I want to show you. Bliss leads you off the main corridor into a corner of the ship you don't remember visiting before. You come into a room with low, sloped ceilings, a single round window illuminating some neat tool storage, and a workbench set into the wall. Look, Bliss begins. I'm no specialist, but I'm a quick learner and good at repairs. They smile. And I think you have need of me. They glance at you. Take at a tear in the thick vinyl skin of your arm. Can I take a look? Can I take a look? Yeah! Fix me up! They smile and lead you towards the workbench. They turn your arm, looking at the tear from all angles. They reach over to the workbench, take a small sealant gun from the rack. You look at the setup. It's basic, but it looks clean and well organized. They gently close the tear with sealant, pressing the edges together so it closes up neatly. After they're done, they release your arm and you can barely see the scar. Bliss admires their work. See? They smile. I know it's more serious than a tear, Bliss folds their arms, but I can handle it. They turn and search through a set of metal drawers for a moment. Here, they produce a couple of carefully machined, pristine components. Was saving these for an important job, they wink. I guess I just found it. Bliss pushes the components into your hands. Take them. When you're ready, come up here and we'll fix you up. These are a rare find, though. In future, we might have to make do with something lower quality. They wince. You can find scrap components at most scrapper ships, like that one that's hanging around the underhang. The better the components, the easier they'll integrate with your system. Bliss leans on the workbench. I'll do my best to keep you running. Thank you. Don't worry about it. You're a guest in my bay, and I can't have my guests' bodies collapsing, now can I? Plus, I think it benefits me if you think of me as indispensable. I should get back to fixing the ship. They leave you in the workshop, among the simple tools, considering the particular qualities of your new friend. Dice repair! Wait, raw scrap? Rare components. That's what I'm supposed to do. Eek. So it fully fixes one dice, but builds glitch. And this is raw scrap. Not usable for that. Alright, well, that seems to be most of the core mechanics. And I am going to stop before I lose my voice. So, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate the company and the conversation. I love this game. I'm probably not going to stream it again. So I hope you enjoyed what you did see. If you liked the gameplay, if you liked what you're seeing of the game, it's currently on sale on Steam. I recommend the prequel first. It's like $6. Highly recommend. It's a great time. And yeah, I hope to see you guys next time, whenever that is. Take care, everybody. Peace out.